This is Global Village Show. Thank you for joining us. Today we have two great guests, Mr. Don Weisbeck, three-term mayor of Brooks and also a businessman in our community. Madam Maureen Chelemu, she is also the pastor of Brooks Gospel Church, International Gospel Church. Welcome to Global Village.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maureen, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Maureen Chelemu. I'm from Zambia, and I basically came to Canada to just be a missionary, spread the gospel, came to study, and thereafter settled in Brooks, came in Brooks as an intern student, and then thereafter decided to stay on. And I basically, I'm still pastoring in Brooks. And after that, I did an early childhood education at Medicine Hat College. And I work as well in a daycare, Sunrise Garden, called Little Ducklings Daycare. I'm the director there, the program director. And so I do a lot of small other things. And I've been in the city of Brooks for 7 years now.
Well, thank you very much. I think you do a lot of things, and you do a lot of bigger things too. And we are glad you're to see your involvement in the community. Mr. Don Weisbeck, I think you tell us a little bit about yourself a couple of times.
Sure. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you for being here again. I've been here a little bit longer than Pastor Maureen. I've been in Brooks since 1988, was about 24 years. Lynn and I came down to build and operate McDonald's restaurant back in 1988, and we ran that for several years. And back in 1998, about 10 years later, I got involved in politics and got involved in municipal issues, and then was encouraged to run as mayor for the city of Brooks, and was lucky enough, or perhaps misfortunate enough, to have won that election. And I served 2 more terms, so I was Mayor Brooks for 9 years, and we've divested ourselves of McDonald's since that time, but I'm involved in a number of activities in Brooks, rentals and other activities. And as I was telling Maureen earlier, politics gets in your blood, and once it's in your blood, all the transfusions in the world won't get rid of it, so it's still there. So I'm still involved politically, and I write a bit. I write a column for the Medicine Hat News every Monday, and for other newspapers as well. So.
And you were also on the Sunday TV, I believe, CBC or City TV.
Recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do some commentary for on budgets and things like that. I tend to concentrate quite a bit on the provincial government and what I think they should be doing, and as such, I've had the opportunity to do a few TV programs where I'm able to comment on the budget and some of the financial activities of the Redford government. That's true.
Yeah, why did you choose Brooks to invest? What is so unique about investing in Brooks?
Well, it's my home now, obviously, after 24 years, but back in 1998, I was working for the Yukon government, and I happened to, my son at that time was 14 years old, actually about 13, I think, and was working for McDonald's in Whitehorse, Yukon, and I got to know McDonald's, and eventually I got to know the people in headquarters of McDonald's, and that's the way life often goes when you take a path, and eventually I ended up in Brooks when we started a restaurant there in 1998, so that's how I ended up in Brooks. So. And
ever since been in Brooks?
Yeah, and 24 years later, here I am sitting in the studio in Medicine Hat talking to you.
That's great. Maureen, you involved with a lot of activities in Brooks, and I believe you are one of the great volunteers that we have in the city of Brooks and County of Newell. How do you see the integration process between the mainstream Canadians and the new Canadians?
This time around, I think we're getting better. Before, it was not really something that one would really get excited about, but this time around, things are getting more better, and you can see the integration is really getting on very well with almost everybody wanting to participate and to see how they could get themselves involved and be more of proactive within the community of Brooks. And I think we will soon get there. If not, we have not arrived, I must say, but we are getting closer to that point of arriving.
What do you think is based on the misunderstanding of the process of the two main stream and the new Canadians, like, in your own opinion?
I always say it takes two to tango. The indigenous are the ones who are the prominent ones. And then the newcomers are coming. But when you welcome somebody to your home, you have to give a hand of acceptance and be able to want and be willing to learn what the other person has come with. Mm-hmm. And just as well as the other person must be also willing to learn and to see how they can accept the people they've found there. So it takes two to tango. So the newcomers are to see how they can be able to accept, learn what they've found, and as well as the settlers, the people who are there, must be able to know and want to learn from the people that have come in. It's not a matter of you found us, so you're joining us, so do what you find here. I think there you have a little bit of friction. But if it's a give and take. Yep. You've come to join us. We are accepting you, but we would also want to learn from you.
That's a very good point. What do you think, Mr. Mayor?
It's interesting. First time I've thought of myself as indigenous. That's an interesting term, but thank you. But anyway, how was I? Well, I guess so. I was born here and grew up here. Anyway, I think you're right. I mean, change is hard on people. I mean, in 1995, when Lakeside first expanded, when Iowa Beef Products basically brought it out from a local group that owned it, that's when they started to expand. And Brooks was basically a Caucasian community. I mean, there's no Native Indians in our community, virtually probably 99% Caucasian. So I remember when the first flux of newcomers came through in the mid-90s, there were actually Newfoundlanders. And there was even at that time, let's call it a little bit of backup or rejection of the Newfoundlanders because they were new. Mm-hmm. I refer to my Newfoundlanders as as a verbal minority. We don't know they're different than us until they start to speak. And but anyway, that started, and then of course it went on and on and on. The Lakeside is what it is today, and that's all happened in 17 years or so. And 17 years seems like a long time to some people, but it's not even a full generation. And these things take time. They just do. And you can do things to help in your community. I think all of us have been part of some of that integration and I think we've been somewhat successful. But in the end, time does it. Another new generation does it. And like Maureen says, it's coming. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But employers recognize we wouldn't have a company like Lakeside, and a lot of the businesses in town couldn't exist without the newcomers that come and fill the jobs. Exactly. Where we depend on them. I mean, we're, as a country of 30 million people, we just don't have enough of us, and looking at the birth rates, we're not producing enough for future generations, so we're going to have to rely on immigrants, newcomers, just for our economic well-being. So we better become part of them, and they better become part of us. And as you say, it's a little bit of both, and we've got a lot to learn from them too. I mean, the neat thing about Brooks, as I've said a few times in the past, is you don't have to go very far to see the world, because we're represented by so many nationalities, by so many people, and it's fascinating. Little Brooks, Alberta, one of the most ethnically diverse communities in our country.
No, that is true indeed, Mr. Mayor, and I think Maureen hit the nail on the head. That is true indeed. We need to embrace the integration process, and we need to accept the new people, and they accept the reality that the people that they're coming to, and they start learning the communication language as well as other issues that are relevant to their survival in the community. And the mainstream have a lot of to learn from the immigrant population, because as Don, you mentioned, it's culture-wise, I think the more you learn in life, the more betterment that you are well informed. Otherwise, you perceive other people indifferent, and you will have always that confusion within. How do you see then 5 years to come more in the city of Brooks and County of New York?
5 years from now, I can see Brooks being a very dynamic community, in that the children that are kind of like the younger ones that are coming up and growing and all that would really be the ones that will run with the whole integration in a better way, because they're doing it at the schools. And the beauty about kids is they don't see whether you have got an accent or whether you got what. What they see is a friend. What they see is a person who is there, who is in their class, or that's the person they want to mingle with. And they will do it better than us, because then they'll be able to move it forward. And I can see a lot of opportunities for both the newcomers and the people that would have been there in Brooks for a longer time than the way it is now. Because when you come in as a newcomer, sometimes you come in already grown, and you stick on to what you know already from where you came from. And you don't want to do much change. But then with the younger ones, for them, as they are growing, they forget a little bit of what they came with. All they know is they're at home, and they call that place home. And if they call it home, then they will take whatever is at home to make everything better. Whereas Maureen here, sometimes once in a while, does think of Zambia and what was being done in Zambia, and cannot maybe one time or the other appreciate what Don is doing, right? I never did this in Zambia. And why is Don doing this? I want it my way. And Don is like, hey, come on now. I think the Zambian way is not the right way. It's my way. And so 5 years from that will not exist at all, because the younger ones would have taken it to a better level, and they would have done even much more better than the way it is. One thing that I wanted just to mention, other than 5 years from now, we're doing better even just now, because you can see there is a lot of interaction in a lot of things that is being done today in Brooks. You find a lot of the newcomers, as they settle in, coming out with some of their talents, some of their professionalism that they have in them, in what their professions are, and they go and will be able to start doing what they're doing and what they can do. And so it's getting a little bit better, and the chances also are like, you know what, we are ready to see what you are able to do, and how we can learn from you, and how we can also be able to move forward. Wonderful things are being done in Brooks. You find certain people involved in the communities, in agencies, in the key agencies that run in Brooks, run in Brooks. They are run by new Canadians, the newcomers, and they successfully doing it. And as well, taking a little bit of what they know from where they came from, and also what they found in Canada, and they blend it together, and it just becomes such a good thing. I know I've time to time rubbed shoulders with Don Weisbeck here, and I find that to be very, very interesting, because I've learned lots of things from him, and I believe you have learned one or two things from me. And so 5 years from now, it will be something that will really be dynamic.
I just make a comment. It's going to be interesting to see in 5 or 10 years how let's call it the older newcomers like yourself treat the newer newcomers. Like lately, as I understand, you probably know better than me, Alma, we have a number of people coming from Mexico and the Philippines in particular, and it's almost like a new new influx and a new ethnic group coming to town, and it'll be interesting to see how people like you that've been around for 20 years start treating the real newcomers.
One of also the issue that's from the cowboy, not only Brooks area but the cowboy area, that the farmers or the mainstream that been there for many years. One of their concern is the new Canadians or the new immigrants, when they come, they feel they are entitled to something, and they were not entitled when their great father came to this country, and knowing that this Canada was built by immigrants. So how do you see as a Don when people feel that way, that immigrants feel they are entitled? So that's a generalization for all immigrants.
Sure. No,
we are not entitled to anything other than what we work for.
Interesting comment. Like my great-grandfather homesteaded near Fox Valley, just not that far, just on the west side.
We're just going to take a quick pause. You guys are doing great.
Okay, okay. We can continue right after.
All right, so Rob, do you want me to switch out the mic? Okay, because there's nothing, he didn't move his legs.
He's doing this though, so adjust.
Okay, so just leave it as is and we'll okay. Just when you probably moved your arm, it just moved the mic cable.
You've got a sensitive cord.
Okay.
So we're just going to leave it as is.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
Okay.
So just pick it up from that last question. Rob will do some magic in it the
Okay.
next week.
Yes. So that is what some of the long-term residents, or you want to call them cowboy. I met a few of them in the farm and had breakfast with them, and that's one of their concern is you guys, meaning that immigrants or new Canadians entitled something that they were not entitled when they were here.
I think that's fair enough, and I mean, it might be true historically, but maybe a little bit irrelevant. I mean, my great-grandfather homesteaded in Fox Valley, which is only 150 kilometers from here, just inside the western border of Saskatchewan, and he was given a quarter section of land. I don't think any newcomers are given a quarter section of land now. In terms of financial benefits that newcomers get, I mean, on a dollar terms, certainly they're more substantial than they were in the 1800s, but we're a richer society now than we're 1800s, you know, and if we're able to turn it around and bring people over here now, let's call it the homesteaders in Saskatchewan or Manitoba or even here in Alberta, I'm sure the benefits would be better than they were in the 1800s. I mean, we're just a wealthier society, so they're different. On the other hand, the quarter section of land is worth a lot of money too, and they were all given a quarter section of land if they maintained it and built a house on it, etc. So it's really difficult to think back of what my grandparents coming. I mean, the fact is that in the late 1800s, the government of Canada wanted to habitat, or populate Western Canada because it was basically a wilderness outside of the original Indigenous people. And this is what they did to it. We face a similar reality today in that we need hundreds of thousands of workers over here, of employers over here to go to places like Brooks or Fort McMurray, or we're not going to grow economically. So in some sense it's similar. And do we offer some things to come over? We do offer some things, but I mean, if you want to sit in the local hotel, 11 o'clock at night and find out, some of the benefits that you get are far in excess of reality. And some of us, as I think we've talked before, Ahmed, will believe what we want to believe, yeah. And it doesn't matter at points. There's a certain segment that you're not going to satisfy regardless, and you move on.
That's what life is. No, that is true indeed, Don. My final question is, do you think, just knowing Brooks for a very long time, and you've been the mayor for 3 times, is there any possibility you think a colored person will be in the city administration sometime?
Well, I think there are some that are working for the city of Brooks right now. I don't know the
Not
number.
administration, I mean elected
the political,
council.
well, you and somebody else ran. the last time there was an election, and was the last time or the one before?
No, last time.
The
Last time, and that was the first time that two black people had ever even run for council. So that's a start. You may have paved that way. I mean, I can easily see it in the decades ahead of having a councillor or even a mayor as that. I mean, we have, look at the mayor of Calgary, for example, and there's mayors all across this country that are black or are from other ethnic groups, and as the population grows, it's not just possible. I think it's quite probable.
I think the mayor in Calgary is the first color mayor in a major city in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
You're probably right, and probably colored and probably the first Muslim mayor of a major city as well.
Major city, yeah. Even the East they don't have, yeah. The final word is, Maureen, what would you like to say to our viewers, especially for this holiday season of coming?
Oh, I want to just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and that they should keep safe during the festival period, and that it will be good for us to ensure that we join forces and hands together to the progress of Brooks.
And Count of New York.
And the Count of New, for sure.
Okay. The overtake by the Chinese company Sinok.
Right.
Do you think that will be a positive or negative in Alberta for the years to come?
It's not very often that I criticize my conservative colleagues in Ottawa, but I was against the takeover, and I'm still against the takeover. Maybe it's one of the few things that Mayor Boucher and I might agree with, but I don't think it's beneficial. I really worry about a country like China getting involved. I've seen what's happened in Japan, where they often mix up their military objectives with their political or economic objectives, and it does concern me. I mean, I don't know if it's the end of the world if it stops here. I understand the Prime Minister says it'll be one of the last times it happens, but I don't agree with that decision.
Simply because of being Chinese company?
Well, security. It's a sovereign country. Not it's Chinese, but it's a Chinese government owns Sinok. It's not an individual Chinese company. The Chinese government themselves is a sovereign takeover of Nexon, and it does concern me. I think oil is one of those strategic resources that we as a country should protect for Canadians, and it bothers me a bit.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And your final word is to the viewers for this holiday season?
Well, we're coming up, and let's remember what the season is all about, and let's enjoy it, and let's worship who we do worship, and have a great time with our family and our friends, and have a safe and enjoyable holiday. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much for Mr. Don Weisbeck. I think you've been very instrumental for the city of Brooks and Count of New York, and we hope to see your involvement for many years to come. And we wish our viewers happy holidays for this great holiday coming. Madame Maureen coming to Global Village, and we hope to see your vital contribution to our community in Brooks. You are a great person, and you are a role model for not only for black people, but for the colored people, especially for the women in our society. We need to empower also the women to play a great role in the society. Knowing that we came from a chauvinistic society, we encourage women to play a great positive role, not negative role, positive role. And thank you very much again for joining us, Global Village.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
This was the end of Global Village show today, and we hope you will join us next time, same time. And until then, we wish you a happy holiday, Merry Christmas to all of you, and enjoy the holidays. This is Ahmed Kassem, your host of Global Village Show.